Marks coming to you from the CHM Public Library. Welcome to the Marks for Life podcast with your hosts, Jimmy, CJ, Jared, and Joe, the Four Horsemen of Wrestling Podcast. Four casuals turned Marks wrestling fans to give you a direct line to all things in the squared circle. We pull no punches, we hit hard, and we will slam you with all the info you need to know. So, ladies and gentlemen, Marks of all ages, are you ready? Because...
You know what? You just made the list.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Marks for Life Podcast. I am your reigning, defending, undisputed Marks for Life Podcast predictions champion of the world, and not rusty at all, CJ.
And I am your other co-host that's present and not flubbing up the intro, Joe.
I didn't flub it up. I hit pause by accident. I was supposed to hit this microphone thing. All right.
CJ, it's only been a month. It hasn't been a year.
Hey, man, ring rust.
Yeah, well, I think WWE's suffering from writing rust.
That too. Welcome to this week's edition. I know we had a long hiatus. We know that all 7 of our fans missed us very much. You know how we change our fans as much as Heath Slater changes his kids?
Yeah, I think, Heath Slater's kids are, non-existent now if you don't look at the crowd signs.
I miss his kids.
Maybe he just, isn't a dad anymore. Maybe he doesn't have kids. Or maybe he got that double wide and they're all very happy.
I know. Anyways, we got a lot of news to catch up on. We're going to condense a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, because that month off, some stuff flew by.
Everything did fly by. We're actually going to start off with some great news, some bad news, and then the news. So first off, we at Marks for Life Podcast want to give a huge shout out and congratulations to our co-host, Jimmy. Jimmy has been doing a lot of great work with the podcast, especially with the pretty much putting it online, putting it together, and I personally don't know how to do it. Joe doesn't know how to do it. I think he left us instructions. But this past week, Jimmy proposed to his longtime girlfriend, Rena, and she said yes. So there is going to be the match made in heaven sometime in the next couple years. We'll see how the writing goes. Maybe McMahon will have an interference. We don't know.
Well, yeah, we do want to congratulate Jimmy, but Rena, fair warning, if his wedding decor decisions are anything like his pay-per-view picks, then you're going to be in for some weird stuff, but best of luck to them.
Best of luck to you guys. We're very happy. We hope to see you guys next week. And also some great news. Joe and Jared have recently started a new podcast if you want to check that out. Joe, tell them all about it.
Well, it's a brand new sports podcast. We actually just recorded our second episode earlier this morning. I'm gonna have to do some editing work on it. It's called Betters Can't Be Choosers, so you can check out all the info and all the big time news. We'll talk about big sports headlines. We also put in some bets for the games of the week. Jared also has some bets on there for today's episode for the Preakness Stakes. So that's gonna be hopefully something we can get off the ground and do pretty well. So if you guys want to check that out, it's on SoundCloud right now, and hoping to expand to a bigger platform once we get the kinks out.
And there we go. And then as we mentioned before, Joe, good luck with all of that. Jimmy, great luck with everything that you're going to be doing with Rena. When we get more information, we'll let you guys know. And unfortunately, it's time to get into some somber news. First off, Ric Flair recently went into the hospital for unknown reasons. We wish him the best of luck. We shoot out some good thoughts to his family through this time.
It's a bit unclear what's going on right now. The original report from TMZ said that it was a dire situation, and it was an emergency situation, but his family later came out and said, no, he should be fine. It's a medical procedure. It was something that was planned, and he should be making a full recovery. Of course, I think the last thing I read was it's being postponed until Monday for some reason.
Yeah.
But
I don't. Maybe it's not as big as we thought. According to his wife and his son-in-law, Conrad Thompson, they have been saying that, well, really, we didn't know that Conrad Thompson was related. So, good on you, bro. I think, maybe it's not as serious as we thought. And let us hope that it is not as serious as we thought, and we hope that all goes well. And secondly, this past week we had another wrestling death. It's actually very sad because this is actually pretty close to where we're stationed out of. For longtime viewers, you know where we are. New viewers, we live in Ronkonkoma, New York. We're right in Long Island. And this one hit close to home. Ashley Massaro recently passed away. She was 39.
Yeah.
And she passed away in her home in Smithtown, New York. And for any of you Long Islanders, you know that that's about 10 minutes from where we are right now. So we want to give we want to give our sympathies and our condolences to her surviving family members, including her 18-year-old daughter.
Yeah, she wasn't, like, when she was in WWE, she was in during that time where the women's division is not nearly as looked on as highly as it is now. She did win the 2005 Diva Search. She got that 1-year contract with that, ended up having a couple WrestleMania matches. So, she may not have been the greatest in-ring worker, but she had an interesting look, and she had a great personality when she got in the ring and on the mic. So she definitely found her niche for a couple of years, and it was good to see her flourish. So it was unfortunate to hear the news earlier this week.
It's been a rough time. So we're gonna do the 10 bell salute for her. She's had a lot of positive feedback from everyone not named Rebby Sky.
Well, that situation,
that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But we are going to give you the 10 bell salute. Rest in peace, Ashley Massaro. You will be missed. Okay. Again, rest in peace. Again, we started off with good news and bad news, and now we're just going to get into some news. So yeah.
Is that segueing into something?
Well,
are you looking for me to kind of help you out here?
Well, let's start with this. Sasha's gone. Sasha Banks has not been seen on TV. There have been reports of her quitting, not quitting, crying on the floor like a little bitch. No reports of her crying on the floor like a little bitch. Wanting out of her contract, and this is going along with a lot of what WWE has been doing in response to a lot of contracts, a lot of people wanting to leave their contracts. You have Luke Harper, who has had a 6-month extension. Dash Wilder has another, I believe, two weeks on his contract. Sasha Banks has not been able to leave. There's been no word. A lot has been happening with contracts, and I want to get your thoughts on that, Joe.
Well, I mean, we kind of spoke about this a little bit when we first talked about AEW as an entity trying to poach superstars from the WWE. And I feel like we're both looking at it as, okay, you have to stay the length of your contract. Vince is obviously not going to let you leave, especially now knowing there's competition on the horizon. But the Sasha situation, now Luke Harper, I really think Luke Harper could still be used well. Whether you send him to NXT, I would really be interested to see him be brought in as part of Bray Wyatt's new Firefly Funhouse and try and see him put in with that, because apparently we're not getting the Bludgeon Brothers back.
My first thought was Luke Harper shaving, having a nice clean-cut soul patch, and a nice crew cut, and be like, "Hello, kids, I'm Mr. Harper."
I would think he obviously does his best work with either Rowan or Bray Wyatt, so if he ends up coming back, I mean, he's a good big man. He's never been really given a chance to shine.
But he
on
can't
his
do a
own.
southern accent.
I mean, he was never like the one time he got really the chance to shine was with that little run with the Intercontinental title,
And that was only a month, really.
Yeah. So I mean, he's an interesting case. Now the Revival, obviously, we've talked about many times on this show how they have every right to want to leave. The fact that they are in a god awful feud with the Usos right now, with just the worst television.
Was it the
I've seen.
Usi Hot?
Yeah, Usi Hot. That was awful. But now you have the team who they were feuding with is on the Money in the Bank card, and they're not. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I mean, the Revival have been just getting the shaft.
What I don't get is that WWE, we've seen this in the past where WWE extends contracts a la Rey Mysterio when they've had injury and missed time off. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of unethical. I get wanting to sit out the rest of your contract, and injuries, it's not something that they choose to happen. It just happens. But to punish people for wanting to leave, it does not create a really good environment.
Well, I mean, Vince McMahon kind of sees it, I'm sure, as, okay, you have to fulfill a certain amount of dates in your contract when they give it to you. And if you miss, in Harper's case, he missed 6 months with a pretty serious knee injury, so he misses all these dates. now Vince McMahon thinks, okay, well, now you still need to make up these dates. The dates don't just go away. And I can see why people might look at it as being unethical or as being, kind of evil and not wanting to let people go. But, I can kind of see both sides of it. Because if you're Vince, now, you and I have been saying for years, CJ, that they need to downsize the roster in a major way.
100%.
Because there's just so much dead weight floating around. I mean, the Revival, they really, even though they won the Raw Tag Team titles earlier this year, they were never treated like a credible threat in the Tag Team division, and then they dropped them to Hawkins and Ryder.
Even the tag division in general has not been treated as credible as anything. Authors of Pain, the Revival.
Hopefully they make their comeback very soon.
There is rumors of that. But look at it, Hawkins and Ryder, B Team, the Ascension,
the
Authors of Pain, the War. No, can we get into that?
Do we have to? Well,
we can bring it up later. Our opinions on that.
Well, apparently there's a rumored match that might take place Sunday that hasn't happened yet, where the Viking Raiders might actually face Ryder and Hawkins, which they'll probably destroy.
Why the fuck not?
But it looks like so. You look at the Usos are the most over tag team in WWE. And they're being used as as side pieces in the Roman Reigns Shane McMahon feud. And then you have the New Day, who are the most over tag teams on SmackDown, and Big E's hurt, and Xavier's just in the middle of the Kofi Kevin Owens storyline. So that's another tag team out. The Bar has broken up, apparently.
Sheamus looks like he's
injuries,
done.
Yeah, so they've broken up. You have the Viking Raiders are kind of just squashing people. They don't really have a direction right now. And you're still waiting on AOP to come back.
There's not really anyone credible in WWE in the tag team division.
Besides Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder.
Which is the weird part. But, I don't know. I feel like, they're not really doing much to build up. They're not really doing much to, really want people to stay. They're not really doing much.
I feel like what you should do when the Fox deal comes around, and I feel like the contracts kind of play into this, it's clear that Fox wants most, if not all, the stars on SmackDown. So Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, Triple H, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, they want all the big names on SmackDown. So what you should do, unfortunately I don't think NBC Universal, who is the parent company of USA, would agree to this, if you have SmackDown kind of be, kind of like the main card show. So you have like the Women's Championship, you have one World Championship, and then you have like maybe one mid-card title. And then for Raw, which would be the other show, you have the tag team division. You have the other mid-card title if you want to have a women's title on that show, but like kind of split it up in a way where going in what the big-time show is. Because if you let the B show kind of be like an NXT type thing and kind of grow organically with all these smaller, good workers, I feel like it would be a good product.
Yeah, I think they really need to revamp how they've been doing things because it is a really bloated roster and that it has been a problem. But the fact that they're not letting people leave is also decreasing morale, and people know this, and that's the crazy part. People know what's going on, and they're not tuning into the product too, and the product's not doing well in terms of storyline. It's which is something I think. All right, I think it's time to talk about. But last thing before we go on to the next topic, Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Where do we stand with Sasha Banks?
I mean, what I originally thought was going to happen was, I wasn't too sure that Alexa Bliss is actually going to make it into the Women's Money in the Bank match. Sure enough, she isn't. So I thought maybe that would be a way to work Sasha in. And, Sasha's kind of in a situation now where she could really show up on either brand at any time and get a huge pop.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, part of me thinks, okay, Sasha's pissed and everything, but what if she's already been having talks with, like, Triple H and Vince McMahon and trying to just make this thing drag out as long as it can, so when she does come back, maybe she comes back at SummerSlam. Because think about how awesome it would be if after months of Sasha not being here, like, say SummerSlam, Becky beats whoever for the Raw Women's title match, and she's talking crap like, oh, no one else can beat me, and then Sasha's music hits and she just walks out, and she just walks out to her and stares her right in the face.
Yeah.
It would be incredible. I
think it would be good. But I also see Sasha Banks. She's also been playing a lot on Twitter. Yeah. Leo Rush is another person. He looks like he's going to be gone. He's unfollowed WWE and social media.
For very good reasons.
Yes, a lot of heat with Leo Rush. A lot of disrespect from the backstage area and stuff, and a lot of veterans chiming in as well. But with Sasha Banks, she's also unfollowed WWE on all of her accounts. Has followed AEW Vice Presidents Cody Rhodes, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, and Kenny Omega, as well as the official AEW Twitter page, and has called out Tessa Blanchard, who is part of Impact Wrestling. So she's making it a point that she doesn't want to return. I don't know. It looks like that she may not even want to return.
That's what kind of makes this whole thing weird because, and she still posts pictures with Bayley. She still has interactions with Bayley, so it's not like she's cutting everyone off from WWE. She posted a picture earlier today or yesterday, I saw it on her Instagram, of her with Trish Stratus, who is obviously a huge WWE ambassador. So it's like she's almost distancing herself from the company while also staying attached.
I was about to say it's not the people, it's the company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if you leave a job and you make a lot of friends in that job, you keep the friends, but it doesn't matter if they're your friends or not. You have to do what's best for yourself. And if what's best for yourself is leaving, in your mind, a toxic work environment, then leave. Because going back to it, the reason why is that it was rumored that Sasha Banks and Bayley were supposed to have a long title reign at WrestleMania, but that ended because of the Iconics, and they changed it on them.
Who have been a total joke since they won the title.
We haven't even seen them. They haven't wrestled. And what happened is that they created an inaugural championship, and it doesn't even look to be faced on the card. And
look how much the Universal Championship has already suffered. Now it's no fault of Finn Balor's, but he was the first champion who immediately gets injured. Then when he gets injured, you give it to Kevin Owens, who had a pretty lackluster title reign after the big moment of him winning on Raw. So now what happens? You get Bayley and Sasha, everyone's behind them, they win the titles, they're over, and immediately they drop the titles to the Iconics, who have been treated like a comedy act.
Exactly. So it's a lot of the belts there don't mean anything, but to be promised long booking, I can understand it, especially if you're trying to establish a title, and you're establishing a title behind two former world champions. That is a great way to establish it, and you didn't do that. And look where they are now. You could have easily had the Iconics win SummerSlam or Survivor Series, drag it out, but you didn't. And I can see Sasha's point with that.
And I wonder if because now remember there was one person who wanted out of their contract was Goldust, so he could go face Cody at All or Nothing. But
Double or Nothing.
But Triple H was the one who said to Vince McMahon, "Hey, let him go." So what if Triple H is not letting these people go because he's like, all right, look, I can get this thing under control. I need you guys to stay and have faith because I have big plans for you.
Well, that's what the rumor's going on backstage. Triple H is consoling people and stuff with this contract stuff. It's like, just give it time. We're trying.
Because Goldust, he's older. We never got that true great brother versus brother feud between him and Cody.
Triple H understands that, though. He understands that there are certain people that, you really, if you're not doing it, I feel like he understands that with Harper. It's like, let him go. We really don't have any plans for him. And that's his thing. He would love for all these guys to stay in NXT if there's no clear-cut plan, because he's seen this consistently. That if you don't have a plan, look at EC3, Nikki Cross, Heavy Machinery, Lacey Evans for the first 5 months of her career in WWE. I'm pretty sure I mentioned the Ascension. No Way Jose, Apollo Crews, Tyler Breeze. We can go on and on and on.
And right now, Ember Moon has kind of stalled on the main roster.
Exactly. And hopefully, and this is going to lead into our next topic about the Superstar Shakeup and the Wildcard Rules subsequently. But, Triple H is right, if this is his thinking, if the reports are to be correct, that don't bring him up if you don't have it. And you already have such a bloated roster, you need to cut dead weight. You do. You need to. Rhino's leaving, which he should leave. He doesn't need to be there. Luke Harper, if they want out, let him out. It's kind of like holding hostage in a way. I can understand that. Then they do the 90-day and stuff. Probably return whatever money they were going to get and everything like that for the rest of the year. Something like that. There has to be a different way to go about this.
Well, because you're kind of in a catch-22 because it's like, all right, if you let them leave, they could go to another company, whether it's AEW or Impact or whatever, and end up being, a star that helps your competition. Or if you don't let them leave, now they're not going to show up again because they hate you.
I'll give a case in point. Drew McIntyre. You let him leave. He became a greater star, and he helped you out in the long run. The amount of times where they go off and build their own brands. Cody Rhodes. EC3. Yeah, EC3. They had a star with EC3. They let him leave. He was able to build it up. It's like, I needed to go to find myself.
Bobby
Lashley. Exactly. All these guys that left and came back, became better for it.
And in a way, Daniel Bryan. Because Daniel Bryan got released the first time, was part of Nexus, and he ended up blowing up after that. And now after he comes back from retirement,
he had one of
bigger.
Yeah, now he's etched his place as having one of the greatest WrestleMania moments in history.
Because you look at Kofi Kingston, and he's a rarity. You stick around for 11 years and finally get your shot. Look at Christian. Christian never got a shot really to be a star on his own. It was really only towards the end of his career, and he really, half of it was he was trying to redeem Edge because Edge had retired.
Mm-hmm. Well, the plan was Edge and Christian at Extreme Rules, but that probably would have been a great time to drop it regardless. But Christian left to find himself. He came back. It's very interesting. The Hardy Boys, they left, they became broken, and company wanted them back even more.
Yeah. Well, look at Kurt Angle. When Kurt Angle left because of all his demons in 2006, WWE, everyone thought there was no chance of him coming back. And then finally he went to Impact. He still put on classic after classic match, got himself healthy and sober, and finally was able to come back to the WWE.
Exactly. And his return run was okay. There were some okay matches here and there and stuff. It was obvious that but to be a TV personality, he really did do things for the product. But sometimes you should let them leave. There has to be some kind of moral thing with running a company, at least.
Well, Vince McMahon's lived by the years of it's either my way or the highway, and also he's used to the last time he had major competition, he bought him out.
Exactly, but
or if you consider Impact major competition, they just fizzled themselves out.
Exactly, but we'll get to his competition later on. Let's get quickly into the Superstar Shakeup. Do you happen to know who... All right, so let's go to the big names who went on Raw. Ricochet. Fuck.
Good start, CJ. Ricochet, Samoa Joe.
They got Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio, Cesaro, AJ Styles, the Viking Raiders, the Usos.
Kinda. They've still been on SmackDown.
The Usos. Any big women? Got transferred over there?
Well, but technically Becky, I guess.
Becky's on both brands. We don't know where she's going to line up. Lacey Evans, Natalya, Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi was, I think, the big female addition for Raw.
Yeah, so they made out okay. Eric Young went there.
Yeah, we haven't seen him much, but he's there.
Yeah. But, and you see that with Raw, and he's with SmackDown, you see that they got Elias, Roman Reigns, they got, Bailey,
yeah.
Ember Moon, Liv Morgan, Apollo.
Yeah, Apollo. Don't sell Apollo short.
I know, right? Lars. They got
Lars.
They got Lars. So, looking at it, they kind of balance out in a way, but you see SmackDown has more of the singles power. But
because they're shifting all the weight over to SmackDown to get ready for the Fox deal.
Yeah, but they're going top heavy on single stars. Their tag team division's a joke.
Both tag teams divisions a joke.
Yeah, exactly. But
the reality is, once Fox takes over, you need to have the tag team division consolidated into one.
Exactly.
Because you clearly don't have enough tag teams to carry 2 shows.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. But, what's the Superstar Shakeup without a fucking wild card rule?
Yeah, because this is such a good idea.
Oh my god. Let's have 3 stars.
4.
No. Let's just have 3 stars. Just show up randomly from SmackDown to Raw and Raw to SmackDown because you never know. And then, let's change it to 4 now. Let's just change it to 4. And then, you know what you do? You just have the same people switching from show to show. You get Roman Reigns going back and forth. Miz, back and forth. Usos back and forth.
Elias.
It's the same goddamn people. What kind of... And the concept of wildcard rule is a joke. This literally obliterates everything and anything that the Superstar Shakeup had any remote dignity left in it. It's all done. We all knew the brand split was going to end. We were fine with that. We were content. We knew it was going to happen. But the way you're going about it, which is trying to end the brand split in a weird, wonky, wild card way, is so stupid.
I think they're just throwing everything in the wall right now and seeing what sticks.
The only thing you're throwing is monkey ass and Vince's shit. This is utter garbage. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You're better off just merging the shows. You're better off just merging the SmackDown and Raw rosters. And you're merging writing teams? I heard they're fucking merging writing teams now for SmackDown. They have wild card rule for the fucking writing teams.
Well, because the writing teams are starting to quit now. Road Dogg quit. Dean Malenko quit.
Ryan Satin, he left, I think.
Yeah, was he the one who got fired?
I think he got fired, yeah. You know, like, what the actual balls is this? I blame Dana Warrior, because fuck all this.
We're not going down this. We're not pissing someone off in a major wrestling family just 1 month after hiatus.
No, fuck this. Fuck the wild card rule. Fuck all this. This is how you lose ratings. This is asinine. This is stupid. You don't fix it by just throwing stars at it that you didn't even properly build up. You do properly built storylines. That's all you need. It's so simple.
The most well-developed thing on WWE television right now is the Firefly Funhouse.
How the fuck do you guys do? Don't fuck that.
And that's
They're gonna fuck it up.
And that's all Bray Wyatt.
I know.
It's all Bray Wyatt and Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn's amazing.
All him. It's all them.
Sami Zayn literally is like one of the bright spots of TV, and all he does is complain about everybody, and it's great. And then
He's literally the internet mark of the Raw division.
Yeah, not even an internet mark. He's a troll. He's a fucking troll. And then you got Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt's amazing. Like, I missed this. I felt like I was missing something from Bray, and it was so hard to get invested in him again.
This could save his career.
This literally should save his career because I loved it. I'm watching it, and I'm like, what? I'm like looking, and I'm like, all right, let me check out the next video because I don't watch Raw anymore, which is like, it's so bad. It doesn't make me want cable.
It's 3 hours of just
trash. But the Firefly Funhouse, like, this is hilarious. Oh, the word of the day is sociopath. I'm like, all right.
And you know they're gonna find a way to botch what should be a money storyline between Seth Rollins and AJ Styles.
Oh, they're so gonna botch it. But Bray, you know, you just have to let him in, like that, like just that transformation. Like, this deserves a segment of itself. It's just that transformation. Like,
that was freaky stuff.
Like, I got scared. I'm like, what is this?
Originally, when I saw like that getup, I thought it was him like introducing a new superstar. But then no, it's just him in a mask laughing. And I was like, oh.
And then he's like, yowie, wowie. I'm like,
I'm like, so it is Bray under the mask. Got it.
Oh, man.
I'm like, who is this dude? And I hear yowie. I'm like, oh shit, it's Bray under a mask.
Like, I never thought. Like, this is what Bray Wyatt needed, was a creepy-ass Mr. Rogers gimmick.
Yeah.
Going full-on Joker from Death of the Family.
And I was like, well, this is going to be interesting.
This is going to be great. Like, I want him...
I know they'll fuck it up once he finally goes off the vignettes and goes into the ring, but we'll enjoy the vignettes.
Oh, you know what? I think Bully Ray suggested it, and I 100% agree. He shouldn't wrestle for a while. He should just show up fucking randomly and, like just everywhere but the ring. So you have him in WWE headquarters, just freaking the fuck out of McMahon or something, or some kind of intern.
Him be like the Boogeyman when he brought him on at SmackDown and he just showed up in random places.
Exactly. I feel like that'd be great, and just have him like kick the crap out of like just random people and stuff.
But like make it look like he'll have him show up in like the nice Firefly gimmick, and then he'll show up in the mask like 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
He'd be like, Bray? Who's Bray? Oh God.
It's like, Bray? Yowie, wowie. Ah!
I love it.
I think this is what Bray Wyatt needs to get back on top.
He has the mic skills to just make it work.
Yeah, and the charisma. Like, I didn't realize how much I forgot about his charisma until this moment. Like, I forgot what
This is what bad writing does. It makes you forget things.
I know. It made like this is what we missed from back in 2013, 2014.
Bad writing makes you forget that Sasha Banks and Bayley had a match of the year canon in a 30-minute Iron Woman match. I have a giant list of matches to watch on the network, and that match is on the list.
Oh, God. But yes, wildcard rule, utter trash.
It's
Bray Wyatt, you are amazing.
If we were giving out letter grades, the wildcard rule would get a Q. Like, that's below an F, I'm sure. Like, that they get a Q.
I'd say give it an X. There's less words for X than Q. And then X could just be extremely shitty.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really bad.
It is bottom of the list.
And you know, usually I get excited right around the Big Four time, but I feel like SummerSlam is going to be just a hodgepodge of just grand trash.
I feel like
and then we have all this crap with the Saudi Arabia show going on.
Oh, you mean Super Showdown?
That they're just not acknowledging.
Super Showdown.
Right. They're just not acknowledging, that Brock Lesnar's probably going to face Seth Rollins for the Universal title again.
Or we get Triple H and Randy Orton, which I'm excited for.
Undertaker versus Goldberg.
That I'm not excited for.
It's going to be death in the ring and not the Undertaker.
Goldberg's going to kill.
Goldberg's going to hit one spear and crush 6 Undertaker's ribs.
This is where Undertaker dies, ladies and gentlemen. This is where
Like,
he
it's gonna
becomes
be
a dead
worse
man.
than Taker versus Brock.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be worse than Taker versus Roman.
I was about to say Taker Brock wasn't bad. Which Taker Brock?
The WrestleMania.
That was really
the
bad.
streak that ended.
I was about to say the SummerSlam one was pretty good.
The later two ones were fine, but the one that ended the streak, Taker got concussed 5 minutes in.
Yeah, Goldberg's known for concussions. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to the Saudi show. Apparently, Backlash is now gone completely.
It's now stomping grounds.
I don't understand, but all right, whatever.
And the takeover got moved to Bridgeport.
Yeah, on June 1st, which looks to be exciting.
Yeah, I was thinking about trying to get tickets, but because like only an hour and a half from us, really.
Yeah, I'd be down.
But I think they sold out pretty quick.
Yeah, Connecticut fucks. All right, can we go on to some better news, please?
Let's do the video game because I feel like we should save AEW Money in the Bank for last.
Yeah. We'll say the AEW for last. So, I know you brought this story up to us. Tell us more about the story with this alternate video game.
So it seems like Ukes, who is they're partnering. They've partnered with 2K for all the 2K games. They also worked with THQ back on the original really good games of the SmackDown series, Day of Reckoning, Legends of WrestleMania. They worked on the big-time WWE games that THQ was putting out every year that were all really good.
Yeah.
Like, they started with the original SmackDown. They went all the way through all the SmackDown versus Raws. They did Day of Reckoning. They did all this stuff. And a lot of those games were really quality stuff. And Ukes' director came out and said that they are trying to create they're going to start creating a new wrestling title, which would serve to create basically competition within the 2K brand, because no one else, except for maybe AEW tries in the future, no one else has the ability to compete with 2K for WWE games, and that's why the product has been kind of stale. Because no one's going to step up and stop. It's now Ukes is kind of like, okay, we're going to try and create our own engine from scratch, basically, and trying to create our own wrestling title so that it creates competition within the marketplace and gives fans an opportunity to kind of pick one way or the other.
Now, would they be going with WWE or would they be going for like indie stuff?
Well, they don't. Well, because they would stick with the WWE license. That's the one thing we know. But we also don't know what type of game it's going to be. It could be a straight up simulation game like 2K is now, or they could go to like an arcade style game like WWE All Stars was. We don't know what the plan is. We just know that they are starting to begin the development phases of this new game. They're keeping a lot of members of the WWE team from 2K, and they're keeping the WWE license. So the only thing we know is that it's going to be a WWE game that is meant to compete with 2K.
And the thing is, WWE benefits from it regardless.
Because they're going to get sales from royalties either way. And 2K still makes plenty of money because they make a ton of money.
Because just from NBA alone. But I don't know how I feel about a second video game like that. I'm very curious to see how it would go.
Well, because back in the mid-2000s, Madden used to be a really good football game because it had to compete with NFL 2K. Like, those two were constantly competing.
And then there was also Blitzkrieg or something like that.
Yeah, Blitz League. So when you had 2K and EA fighting each other with the NFL license, the games were better. And now you see that 2K has to fight EA again because now with NBA, EA has brought back NBA Live, and that's starting to make both games better because of the competition. So I completely agree with the reasoning of trying to do it if it increases competition and if it makes 2K actually step their game up. Like, if you had Ukes do a straight-up simulation game and just take all the stuff people have been asking for online and put it in, like, put in GM mode and put in Road to WrestleMania and the casket match. And the
I was about to
match.
say, I was like, when's the casket match going to come up here, Joe?
So, if you put that just all in a game, boom, you immediately sold the whole fan base on a new wrestling game.
Exactly. And I love the graphics on 2K. Don't get me wrong. I love it, but I feel like it's very stale. There's not much to do.
Their biggest thing has been every year increasing the roster size.
Yeah, but that's like WWE mentality. Just throw stars at it instead of just addressing the problem. We don't want more stars. We want more things to do. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how many stars there are if the only things you can really do are basic matches.
See, what I would love to see Ukes do, and I think I would see them love to go. Let them go away from yearly releases, and instead just make like anthology games. Like, go to Triple H, make an NXT standalone video game covering like the entire first like say it comes out in 2021, the first like 5-6 years of NXT's existence as this, and have you build the roster of anything from NXT and make a standalone game, or make like a standalone Monday Night War game so you can go back and play as all the guys from WCW. Like, there was so many things you could do.
Stuff.
Yeah. So you don't have to do like a yearly release where it's like, oh, and which one do I want? Do I want 2K or do I want the other one? Just kind of have them do every couple years and make each game have a theme.
Exactly. I think that because the rosters don't change much either, too. So you could just constantly. I think what was it? I think it was GTA or something like that. They haven't released a game in years, but they just constantly roll out updates for more things to do, and they just save a lot on that.
Yeah, Rockstar puts games out like every 5-6 years, but
exactly.
when they come out, they're really good, and you can play them for a year or two. Like they just came out with Red Dead Redemption 2. The first Red Dead Redemption came out 8 years ago.
I was about to say that was another point I wanted to bring up too. Was Red Dead? Red Dead does that, and this game is easily one of the best games of the year, from what I've heard.
Yeah, it's really good. So it would be the whole yearly releases with sports games is kind of it's an issue all in its own right. I can have a whole podcast based just on that, but
ooh, bring me on for that.
Oh yeah. But, like, that's the whole thing.
Stupid sports ball.
But even worse is that when you cut the roster off at WrestleMania, and all of a sudden everything on the roster changes, like in 2K19, Baron Corbin still has long hair.
Yeah.
So when you cut the roster and all the character models off at WrestleMania, stuff changes. It took like a year and a half just to get the Bludgeon Brothers actual gimmick into a game because they were so far behind from when it started. So that's 2K I think they need to be challenged. They need to step their game up. They need to fire under their ass.
I agree. And I hopefully we can look forward to seeing that. So first, one more thing. Congrats to Becky and Seth.
Yeah, manslayers.
I'm really upset about that. Like, I'm happy and I'm upset.
See, I'm a little upset because when Seth Rollins posted that picture on Instagram, I was the first one to comment. And
really?
I put hashtag manslayers. But I mean, it's WWE's newest power couple.
That's scary.
I mean, I'll pay for the WrestleMania mixed tag match between Charlotte and Andrade and Rollins and Becky.
That's what I was thinking.
I'll take that in.
Oh my god! And then you have Dean Ambrose and actually no, it's a work. You have Miz and Maurice on commentary.
Yeah, Miz and Maurice on commentary. You have John Cena be the special referee. Nikki Bella as the timekeeper. See her struggle with the bell.
I don't think that'll work.
Why? You act like there's a falling out. He's just gonna propose again. This time it might not be a yes.
Stop it.
She's dating that Swedish whatever dancer guy.
And John Cena's dating some lady. I don't know. But yeah.
Maybe it's Trish.
No, you have Edge and Beth Phoenix on commentary.
Oh god.
They both threatened my neck. Calm down, Edge. No.
Or you could have, just do Ricochet and Casey Catanzaro and throw them in there.
Look, we all know that Ricochet can't speak.
That's true.
But
I'm going to go to WrestleMania. You're going to go to Money in the Bank. I'm sure you are, Ricochet. I mean, just do flippies. Don't worry about the words. Just do a 720 off a ladder and we'll be good.
Oh, my God. Yeah, congrats to Becky and Seth. And fuck you, Lars. You deserve that $100,000 fine.
fine. And the only reason he did is because fucking Mars went after him.
Good.
Good. They were like his conduct is it's like unhealthy or whatever. They said it's unnecessary and they don't stand by it. And they basically said to WWE, do something or we're gonna leave.
Yeah, because he literally was calling out women and black and minorities and everyone.
And now the other way to this is the anxiety attack that he had last year was because all this stuff was there and he was worried it would come out. That was apparently why he had anxiety.
You're damn right. You were right to be anxious. This is exactly what we were going to do.
It's like this stuff's making him anxious. Oh, now it makes sense.
He still deserves it because this is pretty fucking bad.
Oh yeah, it's really bad. Like Lars, you're.
You know what's even worse about this is that he said all this bad stuff about R-Truth and is still kicking his ass.
Yeah, well, because that's WWE. Look at WrestleMania 19. Triple H did a lot of bad things to Booker T, and Triple H still won.
They rectified it kind of with Kofi.
Yeah,
good
I guess,
on Kofi.
But just don't go back and watch. When you watch WrestleMania 19, just hit stop after the second to last match.
I was about to
that's it.
I feel like I only watched the Brock and Kurt match and then the Undertaker match because that was
because Undertaker.
The streak thing. But Lars, let's go on to some great news. All Elite Wrestling is gaining so much traction in such a short amount of time, and it is phenomenal. I am loving it right now.
And they have officially announced that they have a TV deal with Turner Sports, TNT.
Yes.
So as in Ted Turner's company, the one who carried WCW for so many years, has picked up All Elite Wrestling. TNT is a big-time network because the NBA has gotten that network so much attraction, with the NBA having games all the time. A lot of the playoff
But they
games
don't have it on
there.
Tuesdays, right?
No, they never do.
Ooh.
They usually do like Wednesday and Friday, something like that.
So that's going to be... This is huge news for All Elite Wrestling. Congratulations. I know Jimmy, myself, and Jared have had long conversations about whether or not AEW should have a TV deal. Well, they fucking have a TV deal now. They need this. And the thing is, they have to blow it out of the park at Double or Nothing May 25th. And the craziest thing about all this is they haven't even released a match yet.
Nope.
And they got all this traction. It was literally an idea. Literally, this is all came about from like a bet. Mm-hmm. Last year, Meltzer says you can't sell at a 10,000-seat arena. And Cody goes, bet? All In. And then All In was like, oh, maybe we'll do a second show, just for shit. And now they have a fucking wrestling company.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane.
And they can kind of give an FU to Lucha Underground, because Lucha Underground can only get on Netflix.
I know.
And now you're getting, because you have so much fan interest. You have so much fan interest. You have all these big names going there, and you also have Amir Khan or Shaq Khan backing it.
Tony
Khan has been totally backing this thing.
And he hasn't been he's been more of the analytical side rather than the creative side. And that's what you need. That's what you need in a business. The wrestling minds of Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. And you also have Christopher Daniels in there as a kind of a senior talent, whatever. And then you also have Jim Ross as an advisor and stuff. You have a lot of wrestling minds there right now. And it's insane. And then you have the financial backing as well as the analytics of Tony Khan.
And now you have Chris Jericho, who's an outside superstar, bringing all this attention to his match with Kenny Omega.
Oh, my God. You know what the craziest part about it is? Everyone's been saying it's not a war, we're not trying to compete, and all of that stuff. Chris Jericho, fuck you, we're going to war. I'm like, Chris, you can't say that. Everyone's saying it's not a war. We're going to war. Stop it. No.
You came from here. You just were in a backstage segment with Elias at Raw 25.
That was so long ago. Oh, my God.
I wonder if now he's burned the Vince McMahon bridge.
No, Raw 25 was last year?
Last year, I think.
Yeah, because Daniel Bryan was still injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he hasn't been on TV in a while.
Yeah, so I wonder if he's now burned the Vince McMahon bridge.
I don't think he ever will, but I think I could see them one-upping each other, like, hey, bitch McMahon. It's like, I could just see them trying to one-up each other.
All this has been a work the whole time for a WWE invasion of AEW.
Yes.
It's Cody and Jericho just planting the seeds.
Oh, my God.
And Cody reveals he was a double agent for Vince McMahon the whole time.
I can see that. No, I can't see that. But, I'm loving this. I am very excited for Double or Nothing. I'm actually going to watch that live.
Yeah, I'm going to find a way.
Well, we have Fight TV. So
okay.
If you guys want to come over and stuff, we'll work that out. But I'm excited. And the matchups are insane looking forward. So we got we have the buy-in battle royal where the winner gets a shot at the AEW championship. We have Sammy Guevara versus some other person.
We can get the full card and look at it since we'll have one more episode before.
I think that we should definitely do.
I think we should do
but there's a couple of headline matches that we should really discuss. We got
Kenny
the
Omega versus Chris Jericho.
Yes, Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho is going to be insane. We have the AAA World Tag Team Championships being defended by the Young Bucks against the Lucha Brothers, which should also be insane.
Cody versus Dustin.
Cody versus Dustin Rhodes. When they revealed that, I was like, holy shit.
I'm like, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, and it was insane. The promos, there was only 2 promos between them. One for Cody, one for Dustin. And I'm so much more excited for that than anything WWE has put out all year. Simple storytelling. That's all they need, and they're doing it correctly. You also got Hangman Page versus Pac. Excuse me, Pac.
He doesn't go by that name anymore.
I know. You got the best friends, Chucky T and Trent Beretta versus Angelico and Jack Evans. They were a huge Lucha Underground tag team. So
it's going to be a really good show.
It's going to be insane, and the women of the division is going to be amazing. You got I think it's Britt Baker versus Kaylee Ray versus Nyla Rose. I I'm loving this. You know, they also have, like, they're starting to roll out health care. They're going to roll out health insurance over time. They really can't unionize, but they can try and give as much benefits as possible. Full pay for rehab and injuries while it's occurring.
And apparently Jake Hager, in an interview with a podcast, kind of dropped that Jon Moxley may be heading to AEW.
Well, all right, let's talk about that, because that's the insane part. So Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose, released a video on Twitter. And here's the thing. He doesn't fucking do that.
No.
He doesn't post any social media. He's gone on record saying he hates social media, and he posts a singular video on his Twitter, and it shows him leaving, like, a prison or an asylum, you know. So it's like, to represent WWE, he's breaking out and stuff. He breaks down the walls that the architect built, Seth Rollins. He's getting chased by a big dog, Roman Reigns, you know. And you see him, like, having the barbed wire fist and everything, going back to his roots and stuff. And you see him pass by a set of dice on the wall before he starts to train. And the dice, the figures that it shows is a 2 and a 5. So that's 25. Double or Nothing is on May 25th.
Mm-hmm.
So we make a Jon Moxley there.
Or Jon Moxley shows up, Money in the Bank, controls us all.
Stop it. I really hope he doesn't come back to WWE. I'd love to see him in a new company.
I would too. But I could just imagine be like, all right, so it's like we have a special secret spot in the Money in the Bank match, and it's just him coming out with the barbed wire.
You see Ricochet's all, like, beaten up and bloodied backstage. What happened to Ricochet?
It's like, oh no. And then just have weeks of promos with Seth and Roman, be like, Dean, you all right? What the hell's Dean?
I'm excited. I think this is going to be really good. I think the AEW, they already have a couple shows lined up. They Double or Nothing. They have Fight for the Fallen in July. They also have a big British deal too, like a UK TV deal, which is apparently really hard to get.
Yeah.
I know What Culture is telling, like, for all you Americans that don't know, getting signed to this network is huge, and they got it. Between all that, they have a UK show coming up too. I think sometime in Europe by the end of the year.
Sometime in Europe, yeah.
I don't exactly know, but I'm very excited. And they're also going to be looking at things like win-loss records and specifics, like, oh, how many times do you win against this height and weight? How many times does this finisher really close out a match and stuff? They're going to put a lot of analytics like that, which I'm going to actually really enjoy that sports presentation of it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something you and Jared can really talk about too a lot on your podcast, because that's sports.
Yeah, sports stuff.
Oh my God. This is an exciting year. This is a very exciting year for wrestling.
We finally have what Impact was trying to do when it signed Hogan and Bischoff.
Yeah.
And then, bankrupted itself. And then the Claire Lynch storyline, and now we're here.
Did you watch Being the Elite?
No.
It's so much fun. Because, like, you have SoulCal Uncensored, which is Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, Scorpio Sky. They just recently did, like, a Rocky thing and everything like that to train. Like, it's just... Their YouTube videos are insane, so if they could put that kind of content on TV, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I think we should take a break really quick.
Yeah, we'll take a break, and then we'll get into the Money in the Bank predictions.
Yes, sir.
Now, on to badass Billy Gunn. The Rock understands what took place the night you won. You are absolutely right. You do suck. But there is one thing and one thing only you can do. You must go find the man who is simply electrifying. You must go find The Rock. Oh my God, anybody but The Rock. Know your role and shut your mouth. And then, Billy, as fear went through your body, tears went down your cheek, and piss rolled down your leg, your house started to shake again, the clouds parted, the heavens opened, and what seemed like millions of voices all said to you in unison, Jabroni, if you smell what The Rock is cooking.
I fucking love that commercial.
Here lies Billy Gunn's main event push.
This is why he's in AEW. This is what Triple H meant when he said, I'm going to buy your piss hand company. No, he's going to send The Rock down there.
Yeah.
The Rock will literally bury that company.
Vince McMahon's going to do the same thing he did to WCW. Just send Hall, Nash, and Russo down there and have them break it all up.
Oh, my God. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. The first installment of the Money in the Bank prediction. So we're doing Money in the Bank, fucking Takeover. Wait, I have to defend my title at Stomping Grounds.
Yep, that's where we're at now.
That's really upsetting. Can I just?
No, you got to deal with it. It could have been Backlash, but WWE doesn't like us, so we're going to deal with Stomping Grounds.
I don't think I would have liked either choice. I would have rather defended it at Money in the Bank.
Well, you get money. You get three things. We had to find something else.
Can't I defend in Saudi Arabia? None of you guys will show up.
What show in Saudi Arabia? There's nothing happening in Saudi Arabia.
Bitch.
There's nothing happening.
All right.
There's going to be an empty arena on that date.
All right, Joe. Take it away with the match card.
So we have, on the kickoff show, the Usos versus Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. I think it's just a straight-up match. It's not.
No, it's for the
It is
SmackDown.
for the titles. I don't know why it is. The Usos are Raw superstars, but you know.
Wild card rule.
Then for the Cruiserweight Championship, we have Tony Nese defending against Arya Daivari. Then we have Roman Reigns going on with Elias. The Miz faces Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. Samoa Joe defends the United States Championship against Rey Mysterio, and assuming Dominic in his corner, if any of this build is to be saying anything. Becky, 2 belts. God, it hurt me a little bit. Defends her 2 championships. She defends the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans, and she will defend the SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte. Then in the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, you have Mandy Rose, Naomi, Dana Brooke, Ember Moon, Natalya, Carmella, Bayley, and Nikki Cross. You have Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for the Universal Championship. And in the Men's Money in the Bank match, you have Ricochet, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Ali, Andrade, and Randy Orton.
And the WWE Championship match.
Oh, and all right, and for the WWE Championship, you have Kofi Kingston defending against Kevin Owens.
All right, so let's start out this really quick. What do you think is going to main event?
I think it's probably going to be either Rollins and Styles or the Men's Money in the Bank match.
I'm going to lean towards...
I'd probably go Rollins and Styles.
I was going to go Rollins Styles, too, because then it would leave the time open for a cash-in.
Yeah, it would leave the mystery open to see if someone would cash in on them.
Exactly. So let's go through the card. Do we want to go through predictions? All right, so let's name the match, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so we'll start with the pre-show match, the Usos versus Bryan and Rowan. This
All
is
right.
pretty easy.
Jimmy got Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan.
As did Jared, and so did I.
As do myself. They just won the belts from Vacant.
And again, the Usos are Raw superstars. I don't care about this damn wild card rule.
This wildcard rule is terrible.
Just keep them on SmackDown at that point. Why move them to Raw if you're just going to move them back to SmackDown?
I don't fucking know. I'm not WWE.
And they did that random-ass thing where they put Andrade on Raw only to move him back to SmackDown.
Because he's banging Charlotte.
And because Aleister Black's on SmackDown, and so is Zelina Vega.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so clean sweep there for Bryan and Rowan. Now for the Cruiserweight Championship, Nese versus Daivari.
I'm going to go Tony Nese. I feel like it's... You know, he's kind of early in his run, and I don't know who the fuck they're going to build up, but Arya Daivari is not it. Jimmy's also going to go Tony Nese.
Yep, it's a clean Tony Nese sweep. Because, again, we just can't think of a reason why Arya Daivari would beat Tony Nese.
Yeah, like... Well, who else is on the Cruiserweight division?
Jack Gallagher, Brian Kendrick.
Oh, what great. The Lucha House Party.
Yeah, the Lucha House Party.
Ah.
He's just going to run through it until they find someone better. Probably Johnny Gargano. The way WWE's booking team is going.
Fuck.
All right, so next one that could be interesting, Roman Reigns versus Elias.
All right, Jimmy has Roman Reigns. I'm going to lean towards Elias. I don't trust it. You know what I mean? I feel like, because here's my thing. I feel like Roman Reigns is gonna get screwed by what's his name? Shane. He's gonna get screwed over by Shane. Elias is gonna steal the win, and then Elias is gonna try and interfere in the steel cage, and you just see Roman Reigns beat the shit out of Shane McMahon and Elias, so this way Miz gets the win.
Yeah. So Jared's also picking Roman Reigns. CJ, so many thoughts have been going this way in my head too, that Shane's going to get involved in this match to set up Roman's involvement in the steel cage match and a match at Saudi Arabia. But my whole history does not allow me to pick against Roman Reigns. Just out of pure blind loyalty, I have to pick Roman Reigns.
Fair enough. I understand that completely. So we got 3 for Roman Reigns, you, Jimmy, and Jared. I'm going to go with Elias just because I feel like they have to extend this somehow.
Like I said, it's not a dumb choice. And if Elias is facing anyone but Roman, I'll probably pick him to win. But my whole fiber of my being cannot allow me to pick against Roman Reigns.
I just don't know.
It's not allowed.
I haven't even thought about this match until this moment, and I'm like,
and Elias doesn't win on pay-per-view.
Elias needs a win.
It's just me. Is bad, or that I remember the last thing I remember a match for him on pay-per-view was the Rumble when he had the duet with Jeff Jarrett.
Oh shit, you're right.
Well, because he's on the Mania card, but he didn't have a match. He just got destroyed by Cena.
See,
so yeah,
Elias needs a win. All right, so I guess this goes into Shane McMahon versus
Shane McMahon versus The Miz in a steel cage match. Jarrett has taken The Miz.
I'm gonna take The Miz. This needs to die.
Yeah, I'm taking The Miz too because The Miz doesn't lose to Shane McMahon 2 shows in a row. It's not how we do this. Jimmy didn't. Jimmy did not. No. See, Rena, this is what I was talking about.
Jimmy has picked Mr. Shane McMahon.
Oh my God. No, Shane's a non-wrestler. You don't have him win Best in the World to set up 2 matches with Miz and have him win both. It's just not how this goes. This is why Jimmy's never been champion.
Oh yeah. So Jimmy's the only one that picked McMahon. We all picked The Miz.
Because smart individual thinking is winning out over trying to stump the WWE's level.
Yeah.
All right, U.S. Championship, Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio.
Jimmy's got Joe. I'm also going Samoa Joe. Rey Mysterio's going to die again.
Yeah, I'm going with Samoa Joe. I would love to see Rey win the belt, but I just think that this whole thing is setting up for Joe to just look like a monster. Probably shove poor Dominic on the floor, and then he's going to beat Rey. We're going to get Joe versus Dominic at Stomping Grounds, and Dominic's going to win the title.
I just want Joe to choke out every member of Rey Mysterio's family.
He has a wife, CJ.
I want him to choke out every member of Rey Mysterio's family.
He has a daughter that CM Punk creepily sang happy birthday to.
I want Joe to choke out every member of Rey Mysterio's family.
You are an awful person.
So is Samoa Joe. And he needs to be booked as such.
And Jared also has Samoa Joe.
Okay. All right, that's good. Good.
Okay. So, the first of 2, we have Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans.
I'm going to throw my hat towards Becky. I feel like Lacey's too new, and I feel like Becky is going to be the person to carry the Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah, no way that... Lacey's still a little too green. I think she will be Raw Women's Champion at some point in the future. I just don't think now is her time. As much as I have grown to love Lacey the last few weeks, mostly because she's been punking Becky as much as possible. But
yeah.
It's just too early.
Yeah. Jimmy also has Becky Lynch. Who does Jared have?
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch? Okay.
All right. Second off, Becky Lynch defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair.
This is the weird one because, I think it's too soon. All right, so Jimmy has Becky, and I'm going to also go with Becky because I feel like it's too soon for her to drop both belts. I'm leaning more for her to drop one of the belts by SummerSlam or lose by a Money in the Bank cash-in, but I don't think they're going to put the belt on Charlotte again. because I feel like that. Granted, WWE would do that.
They would do it.
I think though that they're going to try and drag it out a little more.
They would do it, and I'm picking them to do it.
You're picking Charlotte?
I'm picking Charlotte. Because the reason is, I see two, and Jared also picked Charlotte.
Okay.
Because we see one of two realities happening on Sunday. Reality A is Becky beats Lacey. That match goes on first. Lacey, to get her heat back, knocks Becky the hell out or beats the hell out of her, and Charlotte comes down and beats and injured Becky. That's the first one. The second one is someone, and we won't say who yet, wins Money in the Bank and does a mid-match cash-in on Becky.
I'd see a more of a mid-match to protect Becky.
Yeah, to protect Becky, but also someone cashes in on Becky. You can have that person and Charlotte feud to get Charlotte away from Becky.
I think that would be a good way to do it as well. I just don't see... For me, I don't see Charlotte beating Becky straight up.
We only picked Charlotte for the simple reason of we don't see Becky walking out with the belt.
I see her doing it because I see her doing it one more time. Like for this pay-per-view, and by Stomping Grounds or Extreme Rules, she would drop one of the belts. Preferably, I would like it if she dropped it by SummerSlam. It would be huge. And even just to drop both belts by SummerSlam, I think that'd be really good. That's my personal opinion. Have it all come crashing down at the same night and stuff. I feel like that'd be huge, but...
Yeah, so I think we're going to end up doing... So what we see happening is Lacey and Becky continues after Money in the Bank, because, again...
Yeah.
Because you would see Lacey attacks Becky and screws her, and then you would have and then you have Charlotte feuding with someone else.
I would still like to see Becky defend against Ember Moon, and I feel like Ember Moon would be a great person to drop the belt to as well. Again, SummerSlam would be great, but no.
Well, SummerSlam would be coming full circle because this is when that whole Becky thing started.
Exactly. So I feel like
so she can lose the Raw Women's title in SummerSlam. She's losing the SmackDown one at Money in the Bank.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So we'll do the other two matches, then we'll save the Money in the Banks for last.
Of course.
So let's jump to Kevin Owens versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE.
Repeat that.
Let's jump to Kevin Owens versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship.
Yeah, I don't know how long that was off. I don't think it was off for long, right?
I thought I heard something go out and then go.
But it was like really quick, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go with that. So, quick recap: Becky Lynch for Jimmy and myself takes both matches. For Joe and Jared, Becky Lynch only takes the Raw Women's. SmackDown Women's goes to Charlotte. Who we get? Kingston Owens. I'm gonna go Kingston. I feel like it's too soon for Kingston to drop the belt.
Yeah, you don't have a magical WrestleMania moment that I'm dropping a month later.
Yeah, and I feel like he's gonna drop it to Roman.
It's possible. I also think that Sami Zayn may unsuccessfully get involved in this match.
I'm leaning towards that as well, but I'm leaning towards a probable successful. Jimmy's also gonna go Rollins. Not Rollins.
Kofi.
Yeah, him. They all kind of are the same at this point. Kofi Kingston definitely on Jimmy's side. I feel bad because Kevin Owens probably could have gotten a lot more out of being a babyface.
Well, because Jared's also picking Kofi, I think Kofi winning will have... Kevin's going to end up having something done to him by another heel. I think could end up seeing him go face. Because I really think you cut off his face run way too early.
I think so too.
Because they really jumbled the whole order of things by having Owens get his championship match at Fastlane instead of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think they really didn't predict how well the Kofi Kingston thing would go.
Right, because if Ali isn't hurt, then it's probably Kevin Owens as a babyface beating Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania for the title.
Exactly.
Because you would have Ali versus Bryan at Fastlane. Bryan wins, and then Owens would
and it would go first full circle too, because at the previous WrestleMania it was Bryan and McMahon versus Owens and Zayn.
Right.
So it would have become full circle. But I guess we all have Kingston.
Yeah. And then next up is the Universal Championship. Seth Rollins defending against AJ Styles.
I'm gonna go. Oh, I would love for AJ to win as a heel because of the club. But at the same time, here's the thing, because Rollins won in such a schemy way, I don't see him holding the belt for long.
Well, the other issue I think the plan is, it wouldn't be shocked me if Rollins versus Lesnar is still the plan for Saudi Arabia.
That's what I'm leaning, yeah.
But the whole thing is, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot because they're doing all these big title feuds a month after all these new champions were crowned. So, like, Seth just won the title, and now you're having him face AJ. Kofi just won the title, you're having him face Owens. Becky just won the title, now you're having her face Charlotte. It's like, these are matches that you could see them losing conceivably, but the fact that they just won the belts a month ago kind of gives you pause.
Exactly. So that's why I'm going to lean towards Rollins just because, again, he just got the belt. I don't know who I'd see him drop. The only person I could see him realistically dropping to besides AJ, McIntyre would be the only other person. Or probably Braun, because Braun can realistically kick a tiny man's ass, even though this tiny man threw his ass over the rope. Royal Rumble.
Which also, we also could see. I would like to see a triple threat.
Yeah. I don't know.
Apparently, the rumored plan for Extreme Rules is Rollins versus Corbin.
So they probably would save McIntyre versus Rollins at SummerSlam.
Unless McIntyre wins the briefcase.
We'll get into that.
So yeah, we're also leaning towards Rollins just because, again,
it doesn't make sense.
It's only a month in, and I think they're going to kind of do something with AJ that they mirrored with Shinsuke. Where, the first match, he's a face kind of, and then he does something heelish, kind of show heel tendencies. And if they have a couple more, or the next couple of feuds, he slowly starts becoming more and more like.
I'd be okay with that.
So I could see that happening. I just don't see him walking out with the title.
All right.
At Money in the Bank.
All right. Ladies first or men up?
Jimmy took Rollins as well?
Yeah, Jimmy took Rollins.
So it's a clean sweep for Rollins.
Clean sweep.
All right, so yeah, we'll do ladies first. So, women's Money in the Bank ladder match: Mandy Rose, Naomi, Dana Brooke, Ember Moon, Natalya, Carmella, Bayley, and Nikki Cross.
All right. Who does Jared have? Let's go one at a time for the people that aren't here.
Okay, so Jared has Bayley.
Okay.
Who does Jimmy have?
I want you to take a guess.
Mandy Rose.
Holy shit, yeah.
Because I said it to Jared before I came, I'm like, Jimmy's picking Mandy Rose.
Really? Why do you think Jimmy picked Mandy Rose?
Because
let's think of Jimmy's logic here, because I feel like
there was logic of one thing that Jared and I didn't want to do because we don't want Mandy Rose to win. But the logic is, a SmackDown person wins the case. She's the only SmackDown heel in this match. Because it's normally a heel thing to have Money in the Bank. So the only heels in this match would be Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose.
Yeah. Well, technically Nikki Cross because she's working with Alexa.
Yeah, but she's working sympathetic.
Yeah. So Mandy Rose is the only heel in this match.
Ooh, you're right.
So that's the only thing. It's logic. It's not nearly as bad as picking Shane McMahon to beat The Miz again, but it's logic.
That is great logic because I can see Mandy Rose pulling that off as like that type of heel.
But I think Sonya Deville gets involved and costs her the briefcase.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm not because I could see them. I still want to see them feud with the tag team championships and stuff. I just see Mandy Rose just not winning it.
Yeah.
I'm leaning my hat towards Bayley because this could lead to Bayley. Because that's the thing. I could see Bayley cashing in mid-match, and we get that Bayley Becky feud, and then Bayley Charlotte, Bayley Ember. But I still want to see Ember Becky. I still really want to see that.
Yeah.
Ember really, realistically, does not need the briefcase. Natalya and Naomi don't need it either and stuff.
I would argue that Ember does need the briefcase because she needs a run. She hasn't done much really on SmackDown.
Well, let's look at the SmackDown roster. SmackDown women's roster. You have Charlotte, Asuka, and Kairi, who are focused on the Iconics. The Iconics, who are focused on the Tag Team Championship. Mandy and Sonya, which could realistically flip either way. You have Carmella.
You have
Bayley, Liv Morgan. She's only realistically 2 to 3 in the pecking order. Not that bad.
Yeah, she was second of who I was thinking about, but I'm also going with Bayley. A, because I love Bayley, but B, her booking lines up completely because she just barely lost matches to both Becky and Charlotte.
Exactly.
On SmackDown in the last couple weeks, and that's what they always do with the Money in the Bank winners. They kind of make them like come up just short or look weak in the coming match weeks, and I just don't think. And
Bayley hasn't even looked weak per se because she's been able to hang with them.
So I think she's gonna. I do think she's gonna win. I think it's also a reward for her sticking with the company when Sasha kind of did her whole thing.
Yeah.
I think they're going to either give Bayley the briefcase to like kind of appease Sasha and show her that they can book her well, or just to give a giant middle finger to Sasha and say, you stuck around, she did, and you're getting the briefcase.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like Sasha could have also been a contender. Where do you think, I'm just going to throw this bonus question, where do you think Dana Brooke will go after this? Because I could see her, if she can build off of this and continue to give momentum, I could see her challenging for the title at one point.
Well, they've been having this weird stop and start feud with her and Natalia, where they had that weird. They have a weird thing backstage, and
when they were challenging for the tag titles, yeah.
So I guess you can feud with Natalia after this. I really just don't think. I think Dana's just. Oh, she's a kind of a. She was like a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
So she's not really that high on the Raw pecking order because you have Becky over on Raw. You still have Naomi. You still have Lacey Evans.
Ruby Riott.
You have Ruby Riott. You have Natalia. So I think there's too much on Raw going on right now for Dana to try and jump everyone.
I don't think she's going to try, but I think she's going to slowly build up steam. I think maybe by next year, you could see her more likely to be in title matches. I'm hoping just to see her get a somewhat high-profile feud. Well, not high profile, but I want to see her get like a good feud going. And I think that'll be the next step. Like, she's like a natural progression type of thing.
Well, because like WWE has kind of been in this problem really since WrestleMania of refocusing everything on the title and that's it.
Exactly.
On the titles and that's it.
They kind of shoehorned themselves.
Yeah. So because like everything about the women going into WrestleMania was Ronda, Charlotte, Becky.
Yes.
Like a slight spotlight on the women's tag titles. But every other woman was just left lost in the shuffle. And now even though Ronda's gone, Becky has such a stranglehold over both divisions that it just feels like they're focusing everything on Becky and Charlotte right now.
Yeah.
So 3 for Bayley and 1 for
Mandy
Rose.
Which is a solid pick. I'm going to give that to Jimmy. It's not a McMahon.
And then
final one.
Yeah, finish with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Randy Orton, Andrade, Ali, Finn Balor, Ricochet, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, and Drew McIntyre.
This one's a really tough one. Jimmy went Andrade. Which is a really good pick. And in all honesty, Andrade was like one of my top 3 choices to win this. Because Andrade and Zelina, I can easily see Andrade beating Kofi in like a Healy way. And this jumpstarts his career.
And Vince, apparently is still incredibly high on Andrade.
Yeah, he's been even higher because apparently Andrade's English is getting very well. And Vince loves English.
Yeah.
Who does Jared got?
Jared has Drew McIntyre.
Again, great pick, but Drew McIntyre, in my opinion, he could realistically just challenge by SummerSlam. He doesn't need the briefcase.
Yeah. Originally, I thought about McIntyre as well.
Again, he was another one of my choices. But I think we're both thinking the same guy right here. Sami Zayn. Just the fact that... Oh!
If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck.
Yeah.
Because Nikki Cross getting put in, I never thought Alexa was a real contender with this anyway. I thought she was just going to add star power to it.
Exactly.
I mean, you look at the people in this ladder match, I think Baron Corbin and Randy Orton are the only 2 you could say doesn't really have a reason to win this briefcase.
Baron Corbin does because he's a fucking troll. I would lean it towards Ali doesn't. He's not getting the briefcase. There's
Ricochet's not getting the briefcase.
Balor already has the belt. Randy Orton, nah.
I feel that's just such a WWE move though to have him win that briefcase.
Exactly. And I think this will also balance out too because if you have a face win on SmackDown, you'd have a Raw heel to win.
Yeah.
And Baron, he could realistically get the shot. Drew McIntyre will literally just steamroll everyone until he gets his shot. I'd rather them build up that way than have him cash in. It was my same opinion with Braun. Braun shouldn't have won the briefcase.
Plus, now, if you have Sammy win this briefcase, his promos are going to be so good. You want me to cash this in? Well, that's the problem. You're too worried about instant gratification. You have no patience.
Exactly. But the thing is, all right, so we think Zayn's going to win. Yeah. Who do you want to see Zayn cash in on more, Rollins or Kingston? And that's another thing, too. Are they going to be able to go after both belts?
I mean,
or is it going to be brands?
The fact they're only having one briefcase for each gender would make me think you could go either way.
But they didn't do that last year.
But if we're going either way, Kingston, because that could perfectly set up Owens turning on Zayn. Because if Zayn jumps over Owens in line and cashes in on Kingston, Owens is going to be pissed.
Yes. Oh, man. I don't know. I see Zayn winning it. It's just... And especially, the only reason why I don't think Drew is I think Braun's going to, again, a lot of people are saying this, Braun's going to kick the crap out of Drew McIntyre.
I think what's going to happen is Braun will get involved in the match. He's going to take out McIntyre. He's going to do something that he thinks will take out Sami Zayn, but in turn ends up helping him win.
Oh, like when he threw Kevin Owens off the steel cage.
He's going to go run at Zayn's ladder, but he'll miss and knock over Ricochet's ladder or something. Ricochet will take a huge dive, and Zayn will just grab the briefcase and run.
Oh my God, that'd be great. And I can easily see Sami Zayn feuding with Braun Strowman over the briefcase at the same time.
Yeah.
So, all right. Did you pay attention at all to who everyone picked? All right, so go through the matches. We'll go through who.
All right, so Daniel Bryan, Eric Rowan was a clean sweep.
Yes.
Tony Nese was a clean sweep.
Yes.
Then for Roman Reigns versus Elias, me, Jimmy, and Jared all picked Roman Reigns. CJ picked Elias.
Yes.
Then for Miz versus Shane McMahon, me, CJ, and Jared picked Shane McMahon. Jimmy picked the Miz. Jimmy picked Shane McMahon.
Jimmy did pick Shane McMahon.
We all picked Samoa Joe over Rey Mysterio. We all picked Becky Lynch over Lacey Evans. It was an even split. Jimmy and CJ picked Becky Lynch. Jared and I both picked Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. We have 3 for Bayley for the Women's Money in the Bank briefcase, and Jimmy picked
Mandy
Rose. Then for the men's match, me and CJ picked Sami Zayn. Jared goes Drew McIntyre, and Jimmy goes with Andrade. You have all of us picked Kofi Kingston over Kevin Owens, and all of us picked Seth Rollins over AJ Styles.
I think this one's going to be a solid pay-per-view, even though the build-up sucked.
Oh, it so sucked, and the card is just jam-packed.
Yeah.
But I think it'll still be solid.
I think it's going to be a good one.
The two ladder matches are going to be good. Rollins versus Styles should be amazing.
Kofi Kingston and Kevin Owens should be like just wonderful storytelling.
Miz and Shane's going to have at least one huge spot.
You know what? I can see how Jimmy thinks that Miz is going to lose. You know why? Roman Reigns gets in the cage, spears McMahon through the cage,
and Shane wins like fucking Greatest Royal Rumble all over again. Or was that Crown Jewel?
Greatest Royal Rumble.
It was Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Where he speared Brock out of the cage, and Brock hit first, even though we know he didn't.
I could see that being a repeat.
Oh my god!
So Jimmy's actually has a lot more logic than I thought.
But I feel like that's not his logic, though. I feel like his logic is they're just gonna screw us all and have Shane win this match.
Let's give the newlywed some benefit of the doubt, and we'll say that's his logic. And if
you know what his logic is? His logic is that George Mazan is gonna turn on the Miz. That's what his logic is.
Oh my god, I forgot about George Mazan. He apparently did a run-in at an indie show recently.
Oh god.
And he was like, they're just putting up his dukes.
What's gonna fucking happen? He's gonna walk in the cage, low blow his own son, and Shane's gonna walk out.
I was never proud. Shane was more of a son than you ever will.
Shane's last name isn't McMahon. It's Mizanin.
McMizanin.
And you see Vince come out, no, we're not doing this. I read the script over in the back. I realize it's terrible. George, come back in here. Vince just left the whole fourth wall down. I'm sorry, people. Like you should.
George is like, my bad. All right. Whew. All right, good to be back, guys. Good to be back.
Yeah. So when assume we're back next week, we'll talk a lot more about Double or Nothing because that will be the day after we record.
Hell yeah.
And we'll also recap Money in the Bank. We'll recap where the standings are. We'll recap how our picks went. All that good stuff.
All right. I think this was a solid episode. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Again, congratulations to Jimmy and Rena on your engagement. Hope all is well. I hope no one sends you a cobra. You know, Joe, don't send a cobra. We agreed on a boa constrictor.
Jimmy, no tombstoning the priest.
No tombstoning the priest. You know, and no getting committed into an asylum as soon as you guys say I do.
But we need WWE ice cream bars there.
We do need ice cream bars. And Joe, good luck with the podcast, with your new podcast. What's the name of it called, and when can we hear it?
It's Betters Can't Be Choosers. New episodes will be posted every Saturday, and it will be on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud? All right. Do you have any plans to get it on iTunes, Google, Spotify?
Well, I know at least with iTunes, I think you have to have a certain number of listeners every week before they approve it.
No, we just...
Right, then again, this show got an...
I was about to say, we have an iTunes subscription or whatever.
Oh, that might be Google that has that rule. I know one of them has that rule.
Oh, we got on both. Maybe we get more listeners than we think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yo, imagine we get like 300 viewers. Like, awesome!
Maybe we think it only went south when Jared and I joined the team.
I have no idea, man. I also know Jimmy listened to it a lot on his own, so...
Right, yeah, maybe that drove the place up.
All right, until next time, Audio Marks, good to be back.
Thank you, everyone, for staying tuned to our podcast. Special shout out to the Sachem Public Library for the continued use of their equipment and space. Continue supporting us by rating and subscribing through Patreon, Audio Boom, Stitcher, TuneIn, Castbox, Deezer, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, and the big three, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts at Marks for Life Podcast. Also, check out our YouTube channel, Marks for Life, for our podcast playlist and other content. Please follow us on our social media on Twitter at Marks for Life Pod, Instagram at Marks for Life Podcast, our Tumblr page, Marks for Life Podcast, and our Facebook page, Marks for Life Podcast. And email us at marksforlifepodcast@gmail.com for any comments, questions, or feedback. Until next time, Audio Marks.